Welcome to chair yoga. This particular class, what our map looks like is that we will start seated in the chair, and then we'll spend some time standing behind the chair for some standing postures, and we will finish by coming back to seated on the chair for some poses, some flows, as well as for our relaxation. So thanks for being here. I'm going to invite you to find a comfortable seated position. And as you settle in, take a moment to connect to feeling your feet on the floor. Maybe even feel a quality of the floor coming up to support you. See if you can notice the sensation of yourself seated on the chair. Feeling how your buttocks connect to the seat and how the seat supports you. And then from that support, can you find some length in your spine? Perhaps imagine there's a string on the crown of your head that connects to the ceiling, and then as you inhale, can you feel that string pull you up a little bit taller? As you exhale, can you relax tension maybe in the face, the shoulders, the arms, letting the weight of the legs relax into the chair and the floor. And then we're going to start our practice with something called the elemental movement meditation. Now I'm going to make a few adaptations because in its traditional form we actually touch our face, and currently we're trying to avoid that. So we're going to keep the intention though. So I'm going to invite you to please bring your hands to your heart into Anjali Mudra, palm to palm, and just take a moment to really feel the hands connect left to right, right to left, maybe even the thumbs touching the breastbone, so kind of connecting to the home of the heart. And now from here we're going to inhale, sweep our arms out and up, just as high as feels comfortable on your shoulders today. As you exhale, you'll come back to the chest. Then with one hand, we'll honor the space that we are practicing in. We'll expand that to the planet we are practicing on, and it doesn't matter if it's right or left first. Then we'll make this little flower gesture. This is Lotus Mudra. We're going to reach it up to the sky, and then we're going to lower it down towards the ground as if we're sending it off into a pond, a body of water. And then we're going to take the element of water and let it wash over us. This quality of letting go. Then we'll reach our hands down towards the earth to honor its stability, its support. We'll come to our belly, where we kind of digest our life's experience, our fire, and we'll honor our fire. And then we'll bring our hands up to gesture towards the ears, and this is for the sounds that we hear in the element of air. We'll bring our hands in front of our face to honor all the wisdom that life grants us. We'll bring our hands back down to our chest, and we will thank everyone who is currently practicing with us right now. And then all those who are practicing on the planet. And then we're going to take all this and share it with the world. But most importantly, remember to share it with yourself. So I'm bringing it back down to you. Enjoying a few breaths to pause here. And then I'm going to invite you to bring one hand onto your chest and one down to kind of the front space of your diaphragm, your primary breathing muscle. And this is where your rib cage meets your belly. And now can you take a few moments to feel the fact of your breath? Maybe to feel a quality of expanding on the inhale, and then softening in towards yourself on the exhale. And as you watch your breath here, just kind of observe, do you feel like the top hand is moving more, the bottom hand moving more? Do they feel similar? And so when we breathe more with the chest, that tends to have a little bit more of a stress response. So what we're going to try to do is, don't force this, but it's more of an invitation, but can you invite a little bit more movement at your bottom hand? So your inhale, the bottom hand moves slightly forward. It's not a push, it's just a slight forward. And then as you exhale, can you let that relax? Pull maybe a little bit in. So know that throughout our practice, if you just need to pause and try to connect to this more diaphragmatic breathing, it is a wonderful tool for quieting your nervous system, for inviting a little bit more calm, a little bit more time out. So please feel to use this in our practice and just throughout your day and your life. Now we're going to try to connect to the exhale a little bit more, maybe to lengthen it. Again, that can be more quieting. And we're going to use a tool called Brahmari breath, which is essentially humming. Brahmari means bee in Sanskrit. So we're going to take our hands down. This is a modification. We're going to move our arms. As you inhale, let them rise up. And then as you exhale, letting them float down. And you can make this movement as big or as small as you would like. But you're just trying to move with the rhythm of your own breath, which might be faster or slower than mine. Your inhale, they rise. And as you exhale, they come down. Now the element of bee breath we're going to add is on the exhale, when the hands are coming down, we're going to hum. So you inhale normally and then exhale. One more here. Now take a moment to notice how you feel after connecting to your breath. And now we're going to start to move a little bit through the spine. So you're going to place your hands on your thighs and feel that contact of your hands on the legs. And then on an inhale, can you slide your hands back, bending the elbows and letting your chest move a little bit forward. And then as you exhale, pull the belly in and just slide your hands back to start sitting tall. So we're going to inhale, pull the arms back, bringing ourselves into a bit of a back bend to open up the chest. And exhale, massage the hands back to a tall seated position. And now keep going with this, going with the rhythm of your own breath. And again, you may find that today you're breathing a little faster or a little bit slower than me. Let yourself take the time to connect to your rhythm, to get in sync with yourself. And then the next time our arms are back, we're going to hold it in our back bend shape. And depending on you, you may choose to press down onto your thighs and just lift the chest. This is a lovely back bend here. Another option is you can slide your hands back just above your buttocks, elbows pulling back and letting the heart lift up here. And then if it feels like you'd like a little bit more wide of a stance with your arms, you can open your arms out, palms forward, maybe turning the thumbs back, and experiment. Do you get a better opening if your hands are a little bit lower? If you float them up a little bit higher into space. As you inhale, inviting the breastbone to lift. As you exhale, letting the belly draw in to support your back. Let yourself enjoy one more breath here. And then you're going to bring your arms down, let your hands rest again in your lap. And just notice how you feel. Then we're going to bring our awareness to our shoulder blades. We're going to start with shoulder shrugs. So on an inhale, can you shrug your shoulders up towards your ears? And then as you exhale, can you bring those shoulder blades down the back? So you're going to inhale to come up, exhale to come down. And can you feel how the shoulder blade glides up on the rib cage and then pulls back down? Now, if you would like to stay with this straight up and down movement, that feels a little bit better on your shoulders, stay here. If you'd like to come into some shoulder rolls, what we're going to do is we're going to start the same. Inhale, shoulders up, and then as you exhale, start to roll them back and down. Inhale to rise, and exhale to lower. Now as you do this, you may find that you want to stay with a shoulder roll, keeping your hands either in your lap or low, kind of moving with the rolls. Or if you're wanting a little bit bigger of a movement and it feels okay on your shoulders, you're going to bring your hands onto the tops of your shoulders and you can circle with your elbows. So you're inhaling to lift and exhale down. And then if you want to make it even bigger, maybe you start to straighten the arms and circle around. But you're trying to find something that creates a little bit more room in your body. If it is creating more tension, if there's a sharpness, please feel free to come back to just simple shoulder rolls, shoulder shrugs. The next time that you find the shoulders back and down, let yourself pause there. Maybe you feel a little bit more circulation in your shoulders, maybe a little bit more ease. And then we're going to bring our attention into our hands. What we're going to do is we're going to do that lotus mudra that we did in our elemental movement meditation. So what you're doing is you're bringing the heels of the hands together, and then to start, your little fingers and your thumbs touch, but we're going to let them move here in a little bit. This gesture is like a lotus flower, and one of my teachers, Judith Lassiter, often says, may we live like the lotus at home in the muddy waters. So this idea of connecting to this beautiful blooming flower, even amongst all the muck underneath us, okay, and that's going on in our world. So I'd like you to take a moment to think of all the gifts that you can offer the world, okay, and you're going to put those in your lotus flower hands, and then you're going to take those gifts and offer them forward into the world, and as you do, you'll circle the hands back in, and repeat that. It's like you're making a little offering into the world. And as you do that, just lightly rolling over the hands. Now, if it's uncomfortable to have the hands touch, you can always just separate them, give them a little bit more room. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the gifts that have been offered into the world by ourselves and others and let them come back to us. So bringing them back into the heart, and again, you can have your hands roll over each other, or if you need to give them a little bit of space, give them a little bit of space. As you're doing this, can you relax the shoulders? Can you make sure you're still breathing? You're not holding your breath here. Nice. One more circle inward. And then you'll place your hands back down. And we're going to bring our awareness back into our spine. We're going to come into some side bends. So I'm going to ask you to please open up your legs a comfortable distance. And as you do this, just to help protect your knees, make sure that your knees going in line with your second toe, or kind of the web space between the second and third toe. You want to avoid your knees knocking in while you're doing this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to side bend. So we're going to side bend over to the right. For some of us, we're just going to place our right hand on our right knee. That might be enough side bending. For others, we may bring our elbow, our forearm down onto the thigh. And when you do this, try to resist collapsing into that shoulder. You're rooting your forearm down. Now from here, we're going to roll the left shoulder back. And if it feels better, just keep your arm low and it feels like a nice stretch. Just stay here with that hand kind of resting somewhere on the side of your body. If you'd like to come into an arm movement that I call lat pulls, what we're going to do is take our left hand, palm face up, thumb facing back. And on an inhale, can you sweep that arm up and over just to a height that feels good on your shoulders. And then as you exhale, you're going to bend at your elbow and pull it back a little bit into a lat pull. So you're going to inhale, expand, stretch up and over. Exhale, pull back and down. And now as you do this, can you kind of notice how does the stretch change? When your arm moves, sensation may change in the shoulder, in the rib cage, in the waist. Now if it feels really nice to move, stay with this movement. Inhaling to lift, exhale to lower. But if along the way you're finding a really sweet spot that you would like to pause in and hold the stretch, please feel free to pause there. It might be arm overhead, it might be arm further back. And then experiment. Does it feel better to look forward, to look down? Taking a few breaths to just breathe into that sensation of stretch. And And then to come out, if your arm is kind of up, you can kind of circle it around and down. And then slowly come back up to sit tall. And take a moment. Notice the sides. Does one feel a little different than the other? Noticing what's changed, if anything has changed. And now we're going to come over to the second side. So on this side, it's a different side. So you might find that your left hand is just going to rest on your knee. That's enough of a tilt. Or maybe you're bringing your left forearm on the thigh and again rooting it down. You're going to roll that right shoulder back. And maybe you choose to stay here, hand down low. Another option is you can reach the arm out to the side, palm facing up. And if you would like to move it on an inhale, sweeping up and over, exhale, bend at the elbow and pull slightly back. So you're going to inhale and then reach, and exhale, pull down. And it kind of feels like an accordion expanding on the inhale in your ribs, and then condensing as it comes down. And so again, notice, if movement's feeling really good, stay with the arm gesture moving. If you would like to hold it somewhere, and it might be different than the other side, kind of let your sensation guide you. You can pause here. Again, your head might be up, it might come down. And see if you can breathe into the sensations. Sometimes I like to imagine the side of my ribs and my lungs. I've got a little balloon, and as I inhale, I expand that balloon. And as I exhale, that balloon slightly deflates. Let yourself enjoy another breath or two here. And when you feel like it is time to come out of it, you can circle your arm around and down. Come back up to center. We'll heel toe our feet in. And then we're going to give a little bit of attention to our feet. So let them rest on the floor, maybe even look at them, see if they're on the same line. Sometimes one foot might be more forward, one might be turned out. So just see if you can bring them so that your toes are facing forward and they're equal distance. We're going to slowly lift the heels up and see if you can kind of keep weight at the base of your big toes and your little toes. And then you're going to bring the heels down and we're going to reverse it and lift the toes up. So you're going to let yourself lift the heels up and the knees will come up a little bit. And then you bring them down and then you'll reverse, lift the toes. And now as you do this, and you can find your own rhythm, can you feel how you're rolling your weight forward and back on your feet? Kind of notice ball, sole, heel. See if you can relax your neck, your shoulders. I just caught myself wanting to lift my feet with my shoulders. So let the shoulders have a break, tell them they can relax. And then the next time our heels are up, we're going to come into ankle circles. So you're just going to kind of circle around through the ankles, around the balls of the feet. And you'll notice your knees will move a little bit. You'll get a little bit of movement in the hip sockets as well. See if you can kind of move them as equally as possible. Maybe notice one moves faster than the other. Can you slow that down if that's the case? And then we're going to reverse the direction. Circling around, feeling that weight shift, and then also feel that little bit of movement in the hips, in the legs. And then we're going to bring our feet down. And then coming back to the spine, we're going to come into a twist. So start with your hands on your breastbone, one on top of the other, and just make a little mental note right now. Which hand is closer to your chest? Which one is on top? Okay? You can keep it. We're going to try to switch it though next time. So from here, as you inhale, get as tall as possible, feeling the ribs lift up off the waist. And then on an exhale, we're going to pull the left shoulder back and let ourselves twist a little bit to the left. Now while you're here, go as far as you comfortably can without tensing through the shoulders and the face. And now you may want to stay here. Another option is you can take your hands from on your chest to down onto your left thigh. Now if you want to explore a little further back in the twist, and if it's okay on your shoulder, you can take your left hand and reach it back behind you on the chair, the seat, or the high back of it. Or maybe you turn your palm to face back and you bring that hand behind your back. And again, with each inhale, you're getting taller. As you exhale, you're pulling that left shoulder back. And now once you have a nice twist in the spine, experiment with where it feels good to place your head. So you can let yourself look back behind you, see how that feels in the neck. You can turn and look forward, maybe over the right shoulder. And then as you go forward and back a few times, see if you can find a nice little sweet spot you would like to pause in. And then once you find that, you could also nod your chin a little bit up and down like you're nodding yes until you find that really nice opening in your neck. You're going to enjoy a couple more breaths here. And then when your next inhale comes along, let yourself come back to center. Let yourself unwind. And then we're going to come to the other side. Now, if you can you switch the cross of the hands? So which one was under? Let that one come on top. You're going to get nice and tall, lifting your ribs up off of your waist. And then as you exhale, you're going to pull your right shoulder back. Find your edge here. You still want to be able to comfortably breathe. You don't have to hold your breath to hold the twist. And today it might feel really nice to have hands on heart. If you would like to bring them down to your lap, you can bring them down to the right thigh. If you want, you can reach the right hand behind you, finding the chair, palm facing back and coming onto your back. With each inhale, again, keep getting taller. Feel like the head could float towards the ceiling. As you exhale, you pull your belly in and move into your twist, but without forcing or cranking with your arms. They're just resting here. And now let yourself explore where you'd like to place your head. So you can look back, see what that feels like. You can rotate, look forward. Do that a few times. And then when you find an interesting place, a sensation you would like to explore, let yourself nod your chin up and down a little bit. Get it just right. Taking a few breaths here. And then on your inhale, come back to center. And then we're going to get ready to come up to standing shortly. What we're going to do is we're going to do a little play to wake up the feet before they take our full weight. So what you'll do is you're going to take one foot, you pick which one you'd like to do first, and you're going to just start to bounce it. You can bounce it through the heel, the whole foot. And if you want, you can kind of imagine maybe you're stomping grapes for one, and you've got this basket of grapes, and you just kind of tap around. Now you're in control of how much pressure. You're also in control of how big you want to make this. So the bigger it gets, the more you might open up through the hip. You can play with tapping the ball of the foot, the heel, and just waking up the sole of your foot, feeling how it connects to the floor. Also, you can use this if you need to stomp anything out. Let it go. Couple more pass-throughs here. And then please bring that leg back in. And take a moment, notice. See, does it feel any different? I know it feels a little bit more buzzy for me, more awake, more alive. Maybe you have that sensation. And now we'll do the other side. So you're going to start to tap it around, okay, different parts of your foot. Again, you might choose to keep it underneath you, or maybe you play with moving it around in the space, stomping around. See if you can relax your shoulders, your face. Don't take yourself too seriously right now. You're pretending to stomp grapes. All right. And then bring yourself back into center. And then notice, how does the leg feel? So now we are going to transition to standing, and we're going to stand behind the chair. What that allows us is we can use the chair for balance if we need it. Now if you don't need it, you're welcome to move the chair out of the way, but I'll be practicing with the chair. So to come out of the chair, let yourself scoot forward a little bit. You can step your heels back. As best you can, you're going to try to use your leg muscles to come on up to standing, but if you need to use your hands to kind of push into, to have a little bit of support, please choose what feels safe for you. So you're going to lean forward, nose kind of forward of the toes, push into your feet. Come up to stand, and I will meet you behind our chairs. Okay. So as you come to standing, you're going to come into mountain pose, and you're welcome to hold on to the chair. You're welcome to bring your arms by your side. You're going to check to see that your feet are lined up, that they have a similar placement. And then see if you take a few moments to really cultivate the qualities of mountain. Feeling solid and rooted through your feet. And then feeling tall and lifted through your spine, the crown of the head. And now we're going to start by moving our arms with the breath, and then I'm going to add a layer that if you want, you can rise up on the balls of your feet, but that part is completely optional. If you need to stay flat on your feet, please do. So we're going to start with an inhale, and as you inhale, can you let your right arm come forward and up, maybe lead with the thumb. And as you exhale, float that arm down. And then we're going to come to the second side. As you inhale, let the left arm come forward and up. And exhale, letting that float down. And now this time, can both arms come up? Inhale, lifting up. And exhale down. So if you want, you can rise up onto the balls of the feet with each one of these. Inhale, right arm coming forward and up, maybe coming up onto the balls of the feet. Exhale, arm and heels come down. And to the other side, inhale, left arm comes up and over. Exhale, down. Now, if lifting both arms doesn't work today, by all means, you can keep both hands onto the chair. So you work with what's going to work for you. Now, let's try going through that one more time. Inhale, right arm up and over. Exhale, down. Inhale, left arm reaching up and over. Exhale, down. And now as you inhale, both come up, or again, both can stay down. And exhale, come back down to the floor. From here, we're going to come into Warrior One. So you've got the chair in front of you. I'm going to actually move it so you can see what my feet are doing, but feel free to have that chair in front of you. Okay? So what's going to happen is you're going to step your right foot back and your left foot forward. You can either have your hands on your hips or they can stay on the chair here. Then bend your left knee as far as it feels comfortable, but not beyond your toes. If it starts going a little bit too forward, you just kind of scoot the foot forward or scoot yourself back so you don't hit the chair. Now from here, feel a sense of feeling grounded. Can you feel like that back right heel could push back to the wall behind you? And if today you'd like to just stay here practicing your balance and your stance, stay here, hands on hips or on the chair. If you would like to move the arms, we're going to go through a gesture that involves a little bit of a hug. So you're going to open your arms out to the side, and then as you exhale, you're going to hug one arm over the other. And then as you inhale, can you open? And again, exhale, let yourself hug. Feel a broadening through the upper back. Inhale to open. We're going to do this one more time. Exhale, hug. Inhale, open, and then stay in this open shape and experiment. What's going to feel good for you? Is it to drop the elbows down, to lift them up a little bit, to lift them up towards the sky? Let yourself settle into a shape that feels good for you. And then on an inhale, can you feel your chest lift? As you exhale, can you feel the belly pull in? Now, if you're here breathing and you'd like a little bit more stability, you can bring that chair, or you can have that chair in front of you. Could be one arm out. One more breath here. And then we will step our feet together. And then we'll come to the other side. So you're going to let yourself step your right foot forward, your left back. This time I'm going to show it with the chair in front of me. Let yourself try to square your hips off. If it's available in your front knee, give it a bend, but not going beyond your toes. Okay? And then you can stay here, feeling rooted, feeling grounded. This is still a lovely pose, creating a nice little stretch across the front of that back leg. If you'd like to do the arm gesture, you're going to open the arms up. And if you want a little bit of a challenge, can you try to bring the opposite arm from last time over? It's probably the one that's going to feel weird and really awkward. And you're going to inhale, open up. So you're going to exhale, give yourself a hug. Inhale to open. And again, one more here before we hold the posture. Inhale, open. And now on this side, do you want to have your elbows down, middle, up? Okay, maybe feel this quality of like the thumbs pulling back a little bit. That's going to help open the chest, engage your rotator cuff a little bit. As you inhale, opening up through the chest. Exhale, feel grounded, belly pulling in, back heel pushing back. And then on your next exhale, let the arms come down. Stepping your feet together. Take a few breaths here in mountain to reset. And then from here, we're going to come into chair pose. So I'm going to just turn my chair so you can see what's going on with my hips. So you can keep your chair where it's at. So what we want to do is when we do chair pose is respect our knees. So only go as far down as it feels comfortable on your knees. You're going to have them point straight ahead. This first version I'm going to do, I'm going to hold the chair and then I'll show you how you can move your arms if you prefer. So you're going to be hinging from your hip creases. So instead of rounding your back, you're going to hinge back and bend your knees. Okay? So from here, you're going to slowly hinge back, bend your knees, keep your spine long, sit back until you feel a little work in the thighs but not strain in the knees, and then we'll come back up to stand. And so we're going to move with our breath. Let yourself exhale to sit back. Inhale to stand tall. One more here, moving in and out of the posture. Okay, and if that's going to work better for your knees, stay with that, kind of going in and out. If you'd like to hold it for a bit, you can sit back, always knowing you can come out of the pose before I cue it. Listen to your body, it knows best. Okay. And now you can stay here, or if you'd like to move the arms while you're here, I'm going to turn so you can see what's going on in the front. You can do goalpost arms, where you exhale, bring your forearms towards each other, and then inhale, let yourself open up. So exhale to bring forearms towards each other. They may or may not touch. Inhale, open. And one more here. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. Okay, and then from here, we're going to, on our next inhale, come all the way up. Nice. Now, if you want, you can shake the legs out. You can hold onto the chair for balance. Let it get kind of jiggly. Kind of move your body. Okay, and then you can shake out on the other side. Well done. Okay. So we're going to come into some wide-legged postures. So please step your legs about a leg length apart. We're going to come into warrior two. So what you'll do is you'll turn your right foot out 90 degrees and then kick your left heel out a little bit. Okay. Then from here you're going to bend your right knee. Make sure as you bend it that it is in line with your second toe. You're not falling inward. Okay. And now you could either have your hands be on your chair, they can come onto your hips. If you would like to have a little bit of movement in your arms, what we'll do today is we're going to cross our hands, and again, I'm just moving the chair so you can see it. Please feel free to keep your chair there. You can cross your hands in front of you, and then you can inhale, arms come up, exhale, letting them come down. And we'll do arm circles. Inhale to lift, kind of like you're taking off a sweater. And then exhale down. And then the next time your arms are coming down, you get to pick where does it feel best to hold your arms. High, middle, low. Now as you are here, see if you can feel both sides of your body equally. And then we're going to look out over the right fingertips. As you inhale, can you feel like you're expanding? As you exhale, maybe pull the belly in, come back into your center. One more breath here. And then we're going to slowly lower our arms down. Turn the toes to face forward and let yourself shift your hips a little bit from side to side. And then we're going to do that on the other side. And I'll show it with the chair in front of me. So you're going to turn your left foot out. Your right heel kicks back a little bit. Bending that front left knee. And then again, making sure that it's tracking straight ahead. It's not falling in. Get nice and steady. Maybe feel like pushing out through the outside of that back foot. And now you may want to stay here, hands on the chair, hands on your hips. If you would like to do the arm circle, if you're going to cross your hands in front, you're going to take that sweater off and circle around. Now as you do this, maybe bent elbows the whole time feels better. By all means, do that. See what feels good for you. Okay, and when you feel like it is time to kind of hold the shape, see where it feels best on your arms today. Up high, middle, maybe right now you're coming down to your hips. You're going to look out over the left. With each exhale, can you relax your shoulders? Can you relax your face? Let yourself enjoy one more breath here. And then we're going to slowly come up. And you can move your hips from side to side. You could also circle your hips around like you're doing a slow motion hula hoop. Or you can imagine for some reason you're standing inside a barrel and you're trying to scrape the inside of that barrel. But this can be really good for your hips. And then if you're circling, come over into the other direction. Circling around. And then we're going to come back into center. Okay, and we're going to do a balance posture. We're going to do tree. So I'm going to come to the side of the chair here. So I'm going to come over to the right side of the chair. And what I'm going to do here is one hand's on the chair. I've got that available for balance if I need it. And my other hand, my right hand's going to come to my hip. From here, I'm going to shift my weight into my left foot. Imagining I'm growing roots down into the earth. And maybe that's enough today to take that extra weight on that foot. If you want, you could lift the right heel. You could take that heel and bring it to the ankle, the lower leg, up above the knee into the inner thigh. But making sure it's not right on the knee joint. The other thing you want to watch out for is you don't want to sag your hip out to the side. You want to keep it in underneath you, getting nice and tall. And now you can stay here. Know that you can always bring your toes back down. If you want, you could lift one or both hands to your chest. You could reach one or both arms out to the side, up your tree branches. And can you keep breathing? So try not to hold your breath while you're holding the pose. Another thing you can do is focus your gaze on a steady point to help you feel more balanced. One more breath here. And then we'll bring our arm down, our leg down. Feel your 2 feet back down on the earth. And then we're going to come over to the second side. So come on over. You've got that chair available for balance if it serves you well. Okay, we've got our left hand on our hip. We're going to shift our weight over into the right foot. Perhaps stay here, or you could lift that left heel up. If you want to bring it in towards the standing leg, you can bring it to the ankle with the toe down, the calf, the inner thigh. Again, watch out for the sag. Let yourself get strong in your hip. And now you can stay here. You could bring your hand or hands to your heart. They could reach out. They could reach up. Okay, so what shape's going to work for you right now? And as you inhale, can you feel a sense of lifting up through the crown of the head? As you exhale, what can you let go of and still stay balanced? And knowing that balance is dynamic, things are going to shift, things are going to move. If you have to bring your foot down, go ahead, rebuild it. It's all about just coming back and refinding your roots. Let yourself enjoy one more breath here. We're going to bring ourselves back down. And then we're going to transition back down to our chair. So come in front of your chair, kind of make sure that it's right there behind you. And we're going to slowly sit back down. If you need to bring your hand back to feel it, go ahead. Excellent. All right, so we're going to do some stretches here. So you want to scoot forward in your chair. It's usually a little easier to access this if you're a little bit more forward. And you're going to take your right leg, stretch it out in front of you, letting the heel rest on the ground. Now from here, we're going to move the foot a little bit. So can you pull your toes towards your shin? This is dorsiflexion. And then can you point your toes away? And go back and forth a few times and notice how the sensation in your lower leg changes. You're probably feeling a stretch in the back of the calf, and then it switches towards the front of the shin. And then kind of find a little middle ground to start off with here. You're going to grow up nice and tall, and if this feels like enough of a stretch already, let yourself stay here. Now if it feels like it's a little bit too much and you want to lean back, or if it just feels better on your back, you could bring your hands back on the chair, the seat, and lean back if you need that for a little bit of breathing room. If it feels like you'd like a little bit more sensation along the back of that leg, what you can do is you want to sit up tall. You're going to hinge from the hips with your shoulders back and come forward until you start to feel a little bit of stretch there on the back of that right leg. And now from here, you could either have your hands rest on your thigh. If you would like to, you could also sweep your arms back behind you, pulling the shoulder blades back. And now to dial this stretch in or out, you can do that foot movement. You could point the toes away. You could pull your toes back towards you. What allows that to feel just right for you, that you can breathe into? There's a little bit of work, but it's not creating more strain in your body. So you're trying to find that middle ground. One more breath here. And then we're going to come up and we're going to build what is called foursquare. Now for some of us, we may not be able to lift our foot up onto our thigh. Maybe we have a hip replacement, a knee replacement, or there's just some discomfort. So here's an option. You could just turn that right foot out. You don't have to force it, but just as far as it feels comfortable for you. That's one version. You could also cross at the ankle and let yourself aim this knee down towards the floor. Now, if you would like to, if it's available to you, it doesn't hurt your knee, doesn't hurt your hip, you can take this right leg and bring it up onto your thigh, pulling the toes towards your shin, and trying to have your shoulders right over your hips. Also checking in, making sure that that supporting leg, that shin is perpendicular to the floor. You want to avoid the knee kind of falling in here. And like what we did when we did our hamstring stretch, you might get a better sensation if you lean back a little bit today. Maybe you're just going to sit up tall. That's plenty. Again, you want to make sure there's no torquing in your knee. It's just more of a sense of stretch in your hip. And if you want to go a little bit further, you pull your shoulders back and hinge. Either hands just kind of resting on your thighs, your leg. One more breath here. And then you're going to slowly bring yourself up. Replace that leg down. And then we'll explore those two stretches on the second side. So you're going to let your left leg come out straight. And then just play around with pointing, flexing the foot. If you can, maybe see if you can pull both the big toe and little toe side of the foot equally. Sometimes we might sickle a little bit and pull one side more than the other. So just becoming aware of that. And then let that rest in the middle. Now you get to decide where you'd like to place your torso. So from your hip creases, you could lean back if that's a little bit better today. You could sit up tall. You could hinge forward, but do keep your chest open. Avoid collapsing or rounding. You want to keep a neutral spine. You might find that your hands are more comfortable resting on your lap, kind of rooting down. You could explore sweeping the arms back a little bit. And I tend to either have my palms forward or thumbs kind of pulling back, again, to help with my posture. With your foot, you could dial it in, dial it out by how much pointing, how much flexing you choose to do here. And then we're going to slowly come on up. For foursquare on this side, maybe it's just going to be a turn out of the leg. Maybe it's going to be a cross at the ankle. Maybe on this side it comfortably can come onto the thigh, pulling the toes towards your shin. And then play with hinging back, sitting tall, coming forward. Find that just right where you feel a stretch in the hip, not a torque in the knee. If you feel a torque in the knee, you want to come back a little bit. Maybe bring that leg down. Check your supporting leg. Is it knocking in? If it is, can you bring your knee right over your heel? And take a few more breaths here. And then we're going to slowly uncross. And we'll do one more little neck stretch before we go into our relaxation. So please bring your hands in front of your chest. And maybe just take your hands and kind of circle around a few times in one direction, a few times in the other direction, sending yourself a little compassion. Okay, and then we're going to take our hands and pull down a little bit, like you're creating a little bit of traction. You're going to pull your chin back, may even create a double chin. It's okay for this. It makes the stretch feel better, I promise. And then what we're going to do is we're going to turn over to our right. Pause when you start to feel a little stretch there in the neck. If you want to deepen it, you can pull that left shoulder back a little bit. And now explore. Nod your chin down, up. Notice where this creates a nice line of pull, and then you'll let your head rest here. And there's some options. You might really like hands just on the chest. That's great. So you can stay here. Another option is you can reach your left hand down. If it's available, you can palm back, tuck it behind your back. If that feels too much on the shoulder, bring it back forward. Another option is, if you want, you can place your right hand on the top of the head, not so much to pull it down, but just to lightly rest and guide into that stretch. And so you're going to inhale, feel like the ear is stretching away from the shoulder. As you exhale, let the shoulder relax down away from the ear. And then we're going to come back to center, hands resting onto the chest. And again, you can do the opposite hand hold if you want to give your body a different option to see what it feels like. Works your brain a little bit. We're going to pull our chin back, pull the breastbone down, and now exploring looking over to the left. Nod the chin up and down. Kind of find that sweet spot. You can pull your right shoulder back a little bit. If this feels really good, please stay here. You could reach that right hand down. You could tuck it behind your back. You could have your left hand come to the top of your head. And so kind of find the variations, the layers that work for you on this particular day. Some days one might feel better than the other, so honor that. One more breath here. Slowly come back through center. Let your hands rest in your lap. Notice how things feel in the neck and the shoulders. Notice how things feel in your whole body. And now we're going to move into our guided relaxation. So please feel free to scoot back in your chair. We can bring pillows behind you, whatever helps you kind of feel comfortable, letting the arms feel relaxed. And we'll come into relaxation.
Please bring your attention to the crown of your head, inviting the crown of the head to relax, to soften. Sliding your awareness down the back of the head, inviting the back of the head to relax. Moving to the forehead, the eyebrows, the eyes, the nose, cheeks, out into the ears, down the jaw, the lips, the tongue, teeth, inside of the mouth, down into the throat, the neck, shoulders, upper arms, elbows, forearms, wrist, the palms of the hands, the backs of the hands, the fingers and thumbs, softening through the chest, the upper back, the circumference of the waist, the belly, the low back, the pelvis, the hips, thighs, knees, lower legs, ankles, heels, tops of the feet, soles of the feet, and toes. Invite your whole body to relax into the chair and into the earth. Please stay in this place of rest as long as you need. Om Shanti. Peace.